Mixed Media Gaming.
All right. Well, welcome back to Mixed Media. If you are watching live, you just heard me talking about sonata form and the narrative of Tchaikovsky's Sixth Symphony. And now we are on to Mixed Media Gaming with another installment of Arguing with Reddit, where Nathan will be responding to hot takes that I think he picked one out for himself, one that I've submitted that he hasn't seen, and just things, hot takes that we've gathered from Reddit mostly, but also from other places on the internet, giving his takes for things that he hasn't seen live. Okay, so ready to go, Nathan?
I'm ready.
All right.
For those of you listening in post, I haven't been talking very much because I'm not feeling too well, and I had a crazy day, so I'm kind of also exhausted. So I won't be speaking very much. So I'm gonna forego my segment, and also there's a ton of stuff to edit, so it gives me one less episode to have to put out. So there you go. Let me grab the first one. This one will be from Producer Wife. Here it is. So let's see. It says Elden Ring is average at best. Oof, I don't know if we'll be able to talk on this, but I think it's a great topic in general. Elden Ring graphics are average, gameplay is slow and clunky, storyline is non-existent without doing your own research into it. Basically, it comes off as a brain-dead type game for the masses, like Call of Duty. It can be enjoyable for a lot of people, but really it's just a time burner full of frustration and aggravation, meant to keep you busy and in a low vibrational state. Especially considering the imagery, I think it is designed the way it is to bring people down mentally. So those are some accusations. So there you go.
Yeah, I never played Elden Ring, and I've seen like the smallest amount of footage of the game, so I'm not really too knowledgeable about it. So like the whole first half about the gameplay, the graphics, and story, I can't really comment on. I guess I have seen enough to like in the back of my mind thinking about the graphics. I don't remember being like, oh, this looks super good, but I don't think it looked bad either. So maybe average, or like average for the budget it's been given, I guess. Yeah, I mean the type of game it is like like a ragey type game where you're going to get frustrated and aggravated. I don't really know if this is like it's odd because that sort of breaks like one of like the principles of game design, where like games shouldn't be too hard or else you won't enjoy it. People do enjoy this sort of game. There are other types of games that are intentionally made just super hard, like the game that's called The World's Hardest Game, right? Jump King, stuff like that. Intentionally hard. I don't really know. Obviously it's like probably one of those things where it's like a breakable rule. As with all rules, I guess, it's been broken in a way that works. So I'm not really sure like why it works in this scenario, but it wouldn't work in a lot of other games or situations. Maybe it's just more that it targets a certain type of audience. But I do feel like Elden Ring is more mainstream than I would figure it'd be for what it is, given how hard it is, supposedly at least. I think it's mainstream in terms of people in the game community have heard of it, pretty much everyone, But yeah, maybe it's not mainstream in terms of people who play it. Maybe there's actually a certain section of people who enjoy the really big challenges, and that's just for them. And I can't really comment on the rest of it because, as I said before, I haven't played the game.
Okay, here is the... Well, you're done with that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one. This one is from... I think I grabbed Ben's.
Yeah, so this person is saying that I know that I would be really good at being a game dev, but how come, as the person's headline says, how come it's accepted that game devs are so severely underpaid in comparison with other CS fields? This person says that, I could spend 40 hours a week doing game dev for a company at a very high level, but that would pay so much less than my current job of doing web development. And how come so many? How come that's the state of things? And how do people choose this industry if they know it's going to pay so little?
There are people who choose the industry despite its negatives, to choose it out of pure passion. I feel like, although probably I figured they choose it out of passion because I feel like the role of a game developer, at least as a coder, doesn't really have many upsides compared to being a coder in many other fields. I'm not entirely sure what the reason is why people are underpaid. The reason that I've always figured is that it's a mixture of two things, or I guess I should say the discrepancy between the pay of, like, example web dev and the pay of a game developer. The difference is caused by two things. One being that web devs are probably just paid a lot relative to what they should be, perhaps, given that the job of web dev is actually not that. Depending on what you're doing, web dev is a very general term, right? But certain types of web devs for sure aren't doing the most complicated things ever, but you still get paid incredible amounts. So there's that, and perhaps game developers get paid less because what they like. The thing they're making tends to be so costly, and the returns just aren't that great in the game. It's also like you don't have as much of a guaranteed cash flow for a lot of companies, not all companies, because releasing one game every time, the game can flop, stuff like that. So you want to save money at the same time, so you have to pay people even less in order to save for the rainy days. Essentially, it's not necessarily as big of an issue with say Infinity Ward, right? Who makes Call of Duty every once in a while, every 2 years, I believe, to make it. And for them, they pretty much have a relatively regular stream of cash flow every 2 years, pretty much. They also owned by Activision, so they can get bailed out probably if things go wrong, whatever. That being said, look at I wouldn't say they're necessarily safe as well. Look at something like DICE with Battlefront, or not Battlefront, Battlefield 2042, which is not doing so well at the moment. Even large companies that seemingly have steady cash flows in terms of regular games that they produce, that seem to always get a good amount of sales, they might be in trouble in some sense, and that it's not always the case. That being said, there are other ways that these companies make money outside of just producing games. I'm not sure about these companies specifically, but as a game company, you can make money a lot of other ways. For example, if you want to do a steady stream of cash flow, you can do contract work. So I don't know if there's any I don't know if the excuse that game developers don't get paid enough to pay their game developers well is a good excuse, but that's what I've been hearing. I'm not knowledgeable enough on the economics of it all to know if that's actually true or not.
You have a comment in the chat.
Plus, web dev is often not mentally stimulating at all. Coming from a web dev background into game dev, it's both frustrating, pay is not as good, and fulfilling. I love the work. It's a weird industry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty much what I was saying. Yeah, it's like people do that passion, but they're definitely, in terms of just purely monetarily speaking, there are better places to go you might get paid more for an easier job.
All right. Here's the last one from you.
Actually, I remember the general premise. Something about when the person specifically requested hot takes, or maybe I'm wrong. Also, another comment says, also the amount of game dev roles is very small compared to the people that want those roles. I heard at an Activision event that they get thousands of applicants when looking to fill a few roles. Devs are replaceable. Yeah, maybe that's true. I was thinking at the same time, the devs are also more specialized than someone like a web dev, right? Obviously, once again, depending on what kind of web dev you're doing, I'm sure there are highly specialized web devs who deal with certain technologies that are not very common to deal with in their high value positions, whatever. But the software required to make a game is not like generic software. So, for example, if you're doing web dev, I don't know, you might be using, for example, basic server management stuff, right? That's not necessarily just a web dev thing, right? You can use servers for many things. Now, for game dev, let's say you're using a game engine like Unreal Engine, there's no other industry that's going to be useful really other than game dev, except for, I don't know, I guess maybe the upcoming Unreal Engine movies and whatnot. But ignoring that, that's going to be game developers are more specialized. So I think that might sort of cancel out the sort of like high. That's sort of another weird thing that would make it seem that it should be that game devs are paid more. No, they're not. All right, and the next thing. Okay, hot take. Fortnite removing building was a bad idea. It's the only thing that made it truly unique from others. So if you don't know, Fortnite did a thing, was it about a month ago or something like that? Has it been more than a month now? I'm not exactly sure. But they removed building from the game. It's like, their main thing, temporarily, a little event that they did. So there's no building. And people, I talked to people who enjoyed it. People like, hey, you want to play Fortnite? They removed building. It was kind of funny that people wanted to play because they removed the main mechanic of it. I think I played Fortnite a couple times, and my issue with the game is that people are really good at the game. It is very hard to outpace people in terms of their building skills. Because building is not like in Fortnite, it's a very unique game, right? There are not many games, at least pre-Fortnite, that did that sort of the building the way it did, right? So it's not like you could transfer your skills from another game to it. I mean, if you're talking something like PUBG, you can transfer your skills from other games, battle royale or not, so that you can like just in general FPS type games, you can transfer your skills to PUBG, right? And then you won't be sort of left in the dust with all the people who started playing PUBG, when it came out. It's not a really big deal because you can jump in. Whereas with Fortnite, you're jumping in with people who are, you have literally zero experience with the whole building mechanic thing, and jumping in with people who have quite a lot of experience. So that's the thing I think is pretty tough about the game. And it's an issue that quite a few battle royales have, is that they have such unique mechanics that don't exist outside of their game, and it makes it just tough to play the game. Not feeling you're just getting destroyed at every corner. So removing it opened up a gateway for a whole lot of people who didn't like the game just because of the building and the fact that people were experienced in that, and a lot of people enjoy it more that way. So this person says that it's a bad idea. So the only explanation given is that it's the only thing that made it unique from others. Now, certainly, I wouldn't say that is the only thing that makes it unique. I mean, on a very literal sense, right? Obviously, it's a different game, right? It's not literally carbon copy. I'm sure the gunplay feels different and stuff like that. The tools you have accessible to you, even though you don't have building, are going to be different than something like PUBG or whatever other battle royale you play. Okay. So on a literal sense, obviously it's still unique. But I'm saying on a bigger scale, on a very more general scale, right? It's a lot more similar to other games now. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think maybe, sure, that's a bad thing in the short term, in the long-term scenario where you remove that and it's just gone forever because, well, you don't have your staple anymore, right? And as we said before, last episode I was talking about, ways to market your game and whatnot using your game idea. And one of the ways was by, essentially having a nice talking point about your game. So a talking point could be, literally it's the elevator pitch of Fortnite, right? It's like battle royale, but with building or something like that, right? You don't have that anymore. You just battle royale, and it's like, okay, you don't have that inherent marketing anymore. So that built-in marketing kind of stuff. So yeah, in the long run, maybe it's a bad idea, but I think in the short term, it's a pretty good idea because I got a lot of people to play the game who didn't play it originally, and they might actually stick around with it when they add building back in. I don't know if they did that yet. I think there were talks about adding a no-build game mode, which is pretty brilliant now, right? Because then you have, even if you found out, wow, I really like this game without the building aspect, you can still play it like that. Yeah.
Pretty much it, no?
Yeah. So that is it for tonight's episode of Mixed Media. Thank you for everyone who watched and watching, commenting live on any of our platforms. We definitely appreciate it. You can always join us on our Discord, and I believe that link is included in the link. All of our links, I think, are accessible by mixedmediapodcast.com, which is should be on your screen if you are watching this. But our Discord server is where we keep our discussion going throughout the week. discussions going on. So, feel free to join us, give us your ideas. You never know if your idea, your hot take or whatever can make it onto a future.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I feel better next time and I'll be talking more. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you for everyone who watched live, and also thank you to everyone who's watching and or listening after we get this published. So have a great night.
Have a great night.
Look, tell a man no trouble. I don't want beef, man. I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then I'm on site. Wrong move, I bet they gon' ride. No need for the telephone hype, nah. No need for the snoozing. Big whip outside, I'm cruising. Big stick inside, no losing. Better watch out for the snake and Judas is. Don't ask them who this is. I bet they know what I'm moving in. I bet I show it into a dim. How you hate and then lose again? How you hating my vibes? Why you wasting my time? Getting hype on my line. Tell a man I don't want feedback, I just want relax. Brand new whip, two-tone, I need that brand new hit. You know, like lean back, brand new bits I live in. We pack, man, you never gon' like us. Get them on sight now, let them on light. That way they know I'm more righteous. Look at my life, I'm living alright. I'm nice, you know I'm alright. Cause looking like Christ, no need for the hype or fight or telephone vipers. No need for the telephone vipers.